Real. Hello. Oh, thank you for the hearts already. All right. Okay. Hi from Barbados. All right. So I wanted to talk about this video. Thank y'all for the hearts. That's so sweet. Thank you. I wanted to talk about this video because it hit me so close to home. So close to home. And I wanted to discuss it. And I think a lot of us are on this particular healing journey. And I think that it's important that we can talk about stuff like this with each other. This is not to bash anybody. This is not to make anybody feel bad. But if you are a parent and you are guilty of this, be mindful of what you're doing. Hello, everybody. So let me first say that I saw it and it was 35 minutes of fucking tears. Baby. Baby. Listen. I don't even know where to start, so I'm going to start from the beginning. So not to tell everything about the documentary because I suggest that you guys go and look at it, okay? I want y'all to go and look at it, like for real. And look at it with an open mind. And it is heavy. I'm going to tell y'all now, and trigger warning, there are going to be triggers because the reason why I'm making a video about it is because it triggered the fuck out of me. And let me first say, I am being extremely transparent. I'm being extremely vulnerable, and I'm telling the truth about stuff. And a lot of people tentatively think because we are spiritualists and we are spiritual leaders or whatever you want to call it, respectfully, that we don't go through anything and that we don't feel anything and we could just handle anything. They act like, we have the nerves of steel, the heart of steel, and that is completely not true. I'm having a great day so far. Thank you. They think that we don't feel anything, that we have, the ability to just get over shit. And let me first foremost and say that I ain't got nothing bad to say about Kirk Franklin. I absolutely do not. This documentary, I'm sure it was very life-changing for him. And the reason why I'm speaking on it is because I have mommy issues. I do. Thank you for the hearts. I am not angry at my mother. I am not mad at my mother anymore. I don't feel anything for my mother. Absolutely nothing. And I hate that that is even something that I have to say, that I feel nothing. I feel indifferent to her. I saw the clips on TikTok just like everybody else, and then I looked up and I saw it's 35 minutes, and I saw the video. And I'm gonna be real honest with you, I cried throughout the whole fucking video. The whole fucking documentary, I cried because I felt Kirk's pain. I felt the betrayal. I felt being lied to because that was my whole motherfucking life. That's my whole fucking story. Um, Many of you who don't know, my great aunt raised me. My great aunt and my father raised me. Not my mother, not my biological mother. And let's be clear, my biological mother is still living. She's still alive right now. She literally lives about 15 minutes from my store. Hello, Rudy. She lives 15 minutes from my store, and she's never came to my store. She's never been to it. However, if I wanted to give her some money, I would have to take it to her. And that's the only way that she'll really talk to me is if I'm buying her love. It's never for free. So I thought that I had moved on from that because it's not something that I think about every day. It's not even something that comes to mind when I think about whatever, whatever. I don't think about my biological mother. Very seldom, hardly ever do I just really just think about her. Something has to happen, or even if a conversation takes place, I just look at the fact that she didn't raise me, and for whatever reason, and I just move on. But as I looked at Kirk Franklin's video, his documentary, um, it broke a bitch down because at first I was upset for him, and then I became upset for me. And one thing that I realized is that I'm never upset for me. I'm so used to the brokenness and healing and trying to be well that I just don't focus on anything that I perceive to be negative. Does that make sense? I try to focus on things that are going to make me happy. I try to focus on things that are going to uplift me, make me prosper, make me dwell in abundance. I don't really focus on the negative of anything. I look at everything in perspective. And so it's hard for me even to Hi, Sapphire. It's hard for me even to digest anything negative because I just don't do that. If something happens, I try to look at the lesson of it. I try to look at, okay, what does this mean? And then I try to go on because I try not to dwell on anything that I feel like that's going to go against my prosperity, that's going to go against my growth, it's going to go against my spirit. So when I looked at this, it overwhelmed me. And I'm not a real big empath. I really work on not being connected to things, but I cried. And the reason why it upset me so much is because this lady, his mother, Deborah, chose to perpetuate a lie than to deal with her truth and just say what it was and just let's deal with it. And it made me think like this. Why is it that a lot of parents don't realize the impact, the cultivating, the molding, the responsibility that they have on their children? Why is it that the parents are allowed to completely mutilate our lives and they have no responsibility of accountability and being responsible to us and saying that they're sorry? Nobody is perfect. Absolutely nobody's perfect, not even me. And nobody gets it right all the time. And if you can be to the age of 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, and you can still lie in someone's face like that, that is a fucking problem because you are too old for that. I used to tell my stepson all the time, As a child, you have no fucking power. But as an adult, you get to choose. I was so fucked up behind watching that. Like it fucked me up because all I can look at is how my mother is not accountable to anything to me. She does not flow in the vein of let me be honest. But she says that she's a Christian and now she serves the Lord and she's just all about church and but you ain't made things right with me. And so I understood Kirk Franklin a lot when he said that he's so used to being broken, he doesn't know how it feels to be well. That is something that I have had to really work on. I had to do my work, y'all. When I tell you I had to do my work with forgiveness within myself and even her, my mother, I had to really work on that. I had to learn how to be okay and be okay with being okay. Does that make sense? I had to learn that I am really okay and that this is okay. Where I'm at is okay. It's okay. I had to learn it's okay to be happy because all I had ever come in contact with was trauma, pain, and abuse. That's all the fuck I knew. I didn't know shit else. So I didn't know how to perpetuate anything else but that. I did not know. And so when I saw, hello, darling, when I saw Kirk Franklin struggling, it just brought some shit out of me that I did not know that I still had in me. And I realized, and I say it all the time, that healing is a temporary thing because it's something that you have to consistently work on to make permanent. Healing is a temporary thing that you have to consistently work on to make permanent because there are going to be things that agitate you and there are going to be things that trigger the fuck out of you and you will think that you're on this side of it and then something will happen and it brings you right the fuck back over here. And if you are not fucking careful, you will stay over here. I learned in my 20s and 30s, I had to learn how to love me because I didn't love me. Now, I was pretty and I would take care of the outer appearance, but the inside was really fucked up. I didn't know how to talk to people. I thought everything was a fucking attack. I thought everybody was going to reject me. I thought nobody really liked me. And it took for me to realize that when my mother can walk away from me and not have a relationship with me, I didn't know how to process that because that is something that is not natural. That is not natural for a mother to not want to have anything to do with their children. That is not natural for a mother not to want to connect to her daughter or her son. That's not natural. So I didn't know how to process that. But what I did know is that I didn't want to be that kind of mother to my children. I didn't want to be that kind of mother. I didn't know what being a mother was because there's like no fucking books that tell you how to be this perfect mom. But I also know that I didn't want to be like that. And I realized in the process of me not wanting to be like that, I had the tendency to push people away because I didn't want to connect with anybody because I didn't know. Oh, I'm gonna say this. I didn't know what love was. Thank you for the hearts. I didn't know what love was. And I'm being so fucking transparent right now. And I know that we can joke and we can talk about things, but we got to talk about the hard stuff too. Because it's talking about this kind of stuff, it's healing. I didn't know how to love because I didn't know how to love myself. I knew how to put myself before people. I mean, put people before me. And I knew how I would treat people like I wanted people to treat me. But that's the thing. People was treating me how I was treating myself. I was putting people before me. So people learn how to put themselves before me too. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm trying. I'm trying. I had all this stuff planned out in my head. I had all this, but I don't know if it's coming out the way that I had planned it. But that's what I used to do. I wanted. Okay, it's just like you dating somebody, right? And you want this man or this woman to see you as this goddess, but you're not actually treating yourself like a goddess. So how in the fuck do you expect them to treat you like a goddess, but you're not treating yourself like that? So you're actually not emulating anything but trauma. How do you have this expectation for this man to come in and save you, but you're not doing anything to save yourself? And then we get upset when people don't see us at our full value, when they don't um when they don't see us at our 100%. Well, how can they see you in that light or in that 100% when you never gave them that to begin with? How? And then there's not anyone that's sitting up there saying, no, you're doing it wrong. This is how you're supposed to do it if you want people to love you like this and love you like that, because they're fucked up too. And so we have all these people with these fucked up ass mindsets and these fucked up ass thoughts and these twisted thinking of the way that love is. And all we know is the brokenness. Nobody's functioning out of wellness. We're just functioning out of brokenness. And the people are the person that you should be focused on and loving more than anyone else is yourself. But we don't see ourselves as worthy to be loved, actually. So, how does that actually work? So, you wonder why you don't have friends. You wonder why no one connects to you, but you're not connecting to you. So, don't you think the expectation that we give other people is really unrealistic, other than the expectation we should be giving ourselves first? And then you wonder why you keep attracting these niggas that dog you, or these females that dog you, or the friends that dog you, or everybody don't like you, and but you don't like yourself, because if you did, you would do better. And like I said, I don't even know if this is coming out the way I wanted to, but I'm just saying how I feel. And when I saw this documentary last night, all I could look at was, or all I could see is myself and how I used to be and the value that I did not place on myself. Looking at me from the outside looking in, people would automatically say, Duchess always got a nice car, I always stayed in a nice house or an apartment, or I always had a good job, and I've always been educated. But I wasn't loving myself because no matter what I did, it still wasn't good enough. Because why my mama don't love me? Why my mama don't care about me like that? And then it dawned on me that a lot of people cannot give you what they don't have themselves. And I realized that my own mother is locked in her trauma when she was 16 years old, because that's when her mother died, my grandmother. And so she never got over that. She never got over that. And she wasn't taught the coping skills. So when I came along, she was 19. She already had 2 kids. Um, and she didn't know how to function. She was never taught that. And my mother is a smart lady. My mother was a nurse at one point, and she got off into drugs and stuff, and bad relationship after a bad abusive relationship. And I just feel like she gave up. And I've learned to look at it as the one thing that she could have done to show me how much she loved me was to not raise me, was to give me to my great aunt and my dad. And I think at this point, that was the best gift she could have ever done for me. That was the ultimate act of love. So I had to stop looking at it like she didn't like me, or she didn't want me, or I wasn't good enough, or she knew I wasn't going to be this great daughter, so she didn't want to have me. I had to stop looking at it like that. And I had to look at it that the divine had a plan for me, and the plan was bigger than her being my mother. That's what I had to look at. I had to look at it that there's a divine plan for all of our lives. And sometimes we think because we're not a part of something, it's a punishment. But sometimes that's the blessing in disguise, because had she would have raised me, I probably wouldn't even be magical Lady Duchess. I probably wouldn't have helped thousands of people. I probably would not have even been here. I probably would not be healed. I would probably have a whole bunch of kids getting beat and everything else, and just living in that time. I didn't and I don't have the life that my other brothers and sisters that she did half as raised have. I didn't, I was spared that. And I have to look at it as such a blessing in disguise. And I had to learn how to forgive her. Because my forgiveness for her, it has nothing to do with her. It has to do with me and me understanding. See, I used to think that she must have known that I wasn't going to be a good person, or I wasn't going to be a good thing. And so she rejected me. But it wasn't rejection. It was the ultimate act of love to me. Because what we be wanting is to be having relationships with these people that probably, if we had a relationship with these people, it would probably be worse than what it would be because we did have a relationship with them. I realized I didn't miss anything. I didn't miss anything by my mother not being in my life, because I was blessed to have a great aunt that served as my mother, and I had a father. And I had to learn how to be okay with it. And I had to learn that when my mother looks at me, she looks at her mistakes. Out of her children, I'm the only one that's doing something with their life. I'm the only one that has obtained a certain stature. I'm the only one. And I'm the one that she didn't raise. So I'm pretty sure when she looks at me, that's what she sees. That I got to be all these things despite of her, not because of her. And so I can only imagine how it really makes her feel. I could only imagine. Now, the sad thing about that is if she learned how to be honest with herself, she could learn to be honest with me. But because she's not honest with herself, she can never be honest to me. And I do not accept toxic love. I don't accept it. I won't even let it in my house. I don't let it in my life. No form of fashion. You have to be working on yourself, actively working on yourself to be around me. I do not let emotionally immature people be around me. I do not let people that do not think before they speak be around me. I do not let people play with my time, and I do not let people be chaotic be around me. There are certain things I do not, you cannot freestyle with me. You have to be working on yourself because that's important first. And I don't think she'll ever get there. And I think that's really unfortunate for her, but that is not my life. So when I saw Kirk Franklin, I saw myself in him. I saw myself in that situation. And for someone who has never dealt with those things, now dealing with them in the public eye, let me tell you something. I can handle being publicly humiliated because I have been publicly shamed and humiliated before. They have made videos about me. They have called me all kind of names, and I've had to get really thick skin. I can handle it though, because those are strangers. But it's terrible when your own mother describes you as being hateful and mean, but she doesn't give people the context of why she's calling you hateful and mean. Because I get called hateful and mean in my family because I know how to put boundaries on people. I do not let them freestyle with me. I remember a time where my mother got mad at me. Keep in mind, she did not raise me. She ain't never even bought me a cup of milk. She ain't bought me a bottle of milk. She ain't never bought me no clothes. She ain't never fed me. She ain't never did nothing for me. My biological mother has never done anything for me. She ain't even sat at the hospital with me. Nothing. She ain't never did nothing for free. And she got mad at me one time when I gave her an allowance of $75 a week. I was trying to help her out. And how I would pay her was that I would go to my beauty shop that I would go to was right down the street from her apartment. And so when I would go to her apartment, when I go to get my hair done, I would go by the apartment. I would drop it off once a week, and I was just trying to help her out. We do it for, or we were doing it for my mother-in-law at the time. So I wanted to do it for my mother, even though she ain't never gave me shit. This is how much I still wanted to help her. So one particular Thursday, because I would go on Thursdays and get my hair fixed. And so this particular Thursday, I have asthma. I have asthma. And so I didn't go because I had an asthma attack. I didn't go. I just kind of like, when you have asthma, you be tired. So she calls me and she goes, are you coming over here today? And I said, no. Well, why? I said, baby, I'm trying to pay my bills. And I was like, and one thing I don't do is I don't compete to explain. I don't compete to justify. I don't listen, think what the fuck you think. I was just to tell you if you shut the fuck up and let me finish, right? But I don't do that. Like, it's so quick for me to be turned off about shit. So I never even got into explaining why I wasn't even coming, that I wasn't feeling good because she started going out to me. I base my bills off of that money. How do you base your bills off a gift? How do you do that? How do you base your bills off a gift that it's not guaranteed that this person's going to give it to you? How do you do that? But that's her mindset. Always like a dope fiend to me. So I was like, at this point, I'm not going to explain. I'm not going to tell you you had an asthma attack. I'm not going to do nothing because you're going off about $75 that is not yours, that you did not earn. And it's my money that I earned. You've never did anything for me, and you coming at me like that. And I was like, I'm gonna let you go. Now, I mean, are you gonna bring it by? And I said, well, I'll talk to Damon and see if Damon will bring it by. I told Damon, he was like, hell no, fuck her. He was like, I ain't taking your mama shit. Fuck her. So I called her back and I was like, Damon said he not bringing it. And she was like, that's fucked up. And I was like, and I was trying to be calm, y'all, but that bull came out in the beach. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what you mean that was fucked up? What was fucked up is you're bitching about $75 about something that you did not earn with me, that I was giving it to you as a gift because we do it for my mother-in-law, and you gonna trip out with me like that? I was like, fuck you. You ain't getting shit from me ever the fuck again. MLD Holistic Healing. Okay. Courtney who? Okay, well, this is Duchess. I got your message, but I'll contact you. You don't have to call the store for that, darling. All right. So Damon was like taking that bitch shit, and I was like, wait, that's my mama. He was like, that ain't your mama. Your mama died in 2004. So that was just one of the many fucking stories that I've had about my mother and her being ungrateful. I remember one Mother's Day, I invited her and I had it catered. Mother's Day dinner was catered. Please tell me why. Oh no, we don't answer anonymous. Cause why you calling my store anonymous? So anyway, please tell me why I do this Mother's Day dinner and I invited her over and my sister over and stuff like that. And it was like this Mexican kind of spread, all kind of enchiladas and tacos and all kind of stuff. So she come in and she looks at all the food that I've had prepared for them. And she says to me, I want some nachos. MLD Holistic Healing. Okay. So I'm like, so she looking at the food and she looking at the food and she sits down. She goes, well, I want some nachos. I was like, well, it's shredded cheese in there and, some chips in there. No, I want some nachos. I don't know why people be playing with me. I said, if you want some fucking nachos, it's some Velveeta cheese in the refrigerator. It's some milk in there. I suggest you heat you up some motherfucking cheese. She was like, I'm supposed to fix it myself. Well, how in the fuck you supposed to eat it? Because I done got all of this stuff prepared. And this is the way that you fucking handle me. This is the way that you say thank you. This is the way, like, I'm not that person. You've never done any fucking thing for me. So everything that I do for you, you should be extremely fucking grateful because I don't owe you anything. Well, I'm ready to go. I said, if you leave my house, don't you ever come back. She sat down. She just look at, don't you ever come back because we're not supposed to do this. I don't owe you anything. And I want this, I want y'all to hear this too. No one, you don't owe anyone anything that hasn't done anything for you. You don't owe them the respect that they think. Old people be thinking that that you need to respect them just because they old. Now you got me fucked up. That's just like on that Kirk Franklin, his aunt Sandra, talking about call her Aunt Sandra. You haven't earned that because where the fuck was you when his aunt Gertrude raised him? Why you didn't get him? That's your sister's child. Like, I make this shit be making sense to me. I was so fucking triggered by that shit because I was like, his mom would rather continue on with her lie than to tell her son the fucking truth. What is wrong with people? What the fuck is wrong with people? What the fuck is wrong with these parents? God, what is wrong with apologizing to your kids if you fucked up? You are not perfect. You're going to fuck up. What is wrong with saying, I am sorry? I dropped the ball. I fucked up. I didn't handle this right. I didn't handle that right. I'm a work in progress. This is why. What is wrong with doing that? Why you can't apologize to your kids when you get it wrong? Why? Do you know let me say this. I love my mother. I love her. Even though we are the way that we are and we do not talk, I have not talked to her, this lady, since 2021. Our last conversation was in 2021. I love her. If she called me today or tomorrow and she wanted to be in my life, only thing I ask is that she be honest. If she can't be honest, let her stay where she is. I tell people all the time, it is one thing to mourn the loss when someone dies, but it's another when they're still alive. Why we just, why we can't do that? I don't want you to operate in a place of denial and operate in a place of jealousy. I want you to operate in a place of, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did not get it right. I fucked up. How can I? But then they expect this loyalty, or they have the audacity to think that we owe them something. We don't owe you anything. I don't owe my mother anything. I don't even owe her respect at this point. Because if you have to continue to lie to me and make up shit to justify, but don't be accountable, I can't do it. I simply cannot, and I will not. And I'm so proud of Kirk Franklin. He went to his son at the end. He had this conversation with him, and the healing that took place was phenomenal. Y'all need to go watch that documentary. Tell me what you think. Go watch it and come back and tell me what you think. If I did something to my kids, I'm sorry. If I said something to them, I'm sorry. Because even I don't operate out of a place of 100% healing all the time. That's why I have to constantly work on it. And I suggest that y'all do the same fucking thing. Work on it. I just want to be the mother that my mother was not to me. And if I'm allowed to, I just want to show up. That's why I love my godchildren so fiercely. That's why I love the people in my group so fiercely, because I want to show up. Because how many people really show up for us? How many people really help us? How many people really care about us? I love that for Kirk. I met him when I was 17, 18 years old. Um, I knew him back then. I'm so happy for him. So happy for him. I'm so happy for his healing. I'm so happy for this process for him. His father said, it's not on my time, it's on your time. So we'll do this at your pace. I'm so happy for him. MLD Holistic Healing. Sure. Yes, we do. We have the stones, and I believe we have some jewelry as well. Give me your name and number, and I can look and see, and I can give you a call back. Okay. Hmm. Okay, Eric. I'll give you a call back. Okay. You're welcome. Bye bye. I just think that at this point, if you're really wanting to heal, forgive them, because it ain't even your job to figure out why they do act the way they act. But when I say forgive them, that don't mean you accept. That mean you forgive them and you leave them where they at. And I'm not big on forgiveness because, bitch, my forgiveness, you got to earn it. But I'm forgiving them for me. I don't hold any animosity towards my mother for her not being there for me. I don't hold any animosity because she's lost. And it's not even my job to find her. It's a job to find herself, just like I had to do. And I know it might seem like I'm being whatever, and that's fine. But healing is for me. And that documentary triggered the fuck out of me. It really did. But at the same time, I saw healing in it too. And I saw healing in it for him. And I want healing for you. And I the first thing I'm going to say is forgive yourself. Stop blaming yourself for their actions when it came to you. You're a kid. You didn't have anything to do with it. So forgive yourself for ever thinking that you wasn't good enough. Forgive yourself for thinking that you have to reject yourself because everybody else has rejected you. Forgive yourself for that. Healing is your responsibility. It is. So do it. And it doesn't have to look like anybody else's. Be the parent that you wanted your mother to be to you, or you wanted your father to be to you. And stop looking at it as, a bad thing. Some of us was really spared. Some of us was really blessed. I hope this message helped somebody because it definitely helped me. And I hope it continues to help you. If you need help with life coaching, with conversations, book it with me. I'll help you figure it out. I had to figure it out too. I did. And it was very painful because I had to stop blaming myself for something I didn't have anything to do with. And you got to stop blaming yourself too. And this was kind of a tough video for me to do without crying. Um, but I thought that it was important to do it because a lot of times we always want people to think that our life is okay. That because I get to sit in this seat, that my life is just perfect and I got it all worked out, and I don't. I have to constantly work at this. I have to constantly work at my happiness. I have to constantly work for my joy and my peace of mind. Constantly. That's why the conjure never stops because life ain't stopping. And I refuse to be bitter. I refuse to be angry. I refuse to be mean. I refuse to be these things just because someone else made a decision about me. I make the decisions for me. I do not move out of a place of brokenness. I do not move out of a place of trauma. I refuse to. That is not my life. I refuse that. I can't even conceive that at this point, and I'm not. I've learned how to be happy, find joy in my life because life is beautiful. And those who are supposed to be around you, they will be. Those who not, they not. I know that a lot of people are attracted to me. They have mommy issues because I had them. And if I can help them work through it, I'm going to do that too. I am attracted to people that have rejection issues because I had rejection issues for the longest. I didn't think that I was worthy or good enough for anything. Baby, I am a whole motherfucking goddess. I deserve all the things that are wonderful and great and excellent and opulent. I deserve to have this kind of life. You want to know why? Because I breathe it. My complete and utter and total existence, it is to be great. You got to feel that way about you. You are excellent. You function in a mode of opulence. No one can take that from you. I don't care if people call you bougie and stuck up, so bitch, get like me. What are you waiting on? Get like me. It's not difficult. All you got to do is stop bullshitting yourself and start looking in the mirror and saying, okay, this is what the fuck I need to fix. Because I'm fucked up right now. But I don't have to stay fucked up. Because you don't. I refuse to live any other kind of way. I don't want you to live that way either. It's okay to talk to people, but make sure you're talking to the right people because some people don't want you to heal because they like the company and the trauma. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do for you. You have to allow that to happen. Y'all gotta stop being afraid to grow. I used to fear everything. I feared love. I feared not being loved. I feared anything great happening. I wasn't gonna keep it for long because it wasn't gonna last. All that's bullshit. Not only is good stuff going to happen, it's going to keep happening. Not only is my life going to be great, it's going to keep being great because I chose that. I no longer look for the ball to drop. I realize life happens and people going to people. Sometimes it's going to be good. Sometimes it's not going to be not so good. See how I did not use the word bad as it applies to my life because I just don't believe that. You got to believe that too. But you got to do your work. Sometimes you got to realize where that controlling comes from, where the narcissistic part of you comes from. Those are ugly things that we got to look at. Why be we really jealous of people? Because we really wish that we had that kind of life, but you don't know what they had to do to get that kind of life. That's all I be saying. That's all I'm on. That's the type of time I'm on. What are you doing for you? Your mama's gonna be your mama. Your daddy gonna be your mama. I mean your daddy. Whether he in your life or not. They're gonna be there. But what are you doing for you? Hello. Hello. Give me 1 second. Yes, ma'am. So anyway, blessings to y'all. I hope this video finds and moves y'all in a way that it's never moved y'all before. So that's it. That's all. Go be great. I speak blessings onto everybody. Go onto my website, magicalLadyDuchess.com. Click on the book, a reading, and we can talk about it. If you need some life coaching, I can do that. And I know everybody said you're a life coach, but I can do that. Me working on my PhD is really growing me. I ain't gonna even fucking lie. It's really growing me. And I pray that it grows you too. Blessings, y'all. Ashe.